Hi guys, today we will have a look inside my late dad's old 2-meter transceiver. I hope you will find it interesting. Okay, so here we have the top view of the FDK MULTI-2000. Let's do a quick visual inspection and look at the individual PCBs or parts of the system and see if it makes sense to invest some time in restoring this. So I'll try to zoom in and hope that the autofocus doesn't fail me. Yeah, let's go all the way in and then pan around. So what do we see here? So here at the back we have the booster or power amplifier section here. It's usually under a can. Looks pretty nice. Coil's still shiny. Then if we pan around, I don't know if you can see it in the video. Behind this big capacitor there's a RX TX relay, in the antenna section, probably switching between RX and TX, maybe I was right. Then here we have the transformer. This thing could be powered by either 13.8 volt directly or via AC. The whole AC power section looks really scary if you look at from today's point of view. Like none of the connections that are hooked up to mains voltage are isolated. They have distance like 5 or 10 millimeter to the next part, but definitely would not pass any security inspection these days. But hey, that's how it was built, 1975. Then here, coming out of the transformer, we see the 4 diodes of the bridge rectifier. Behind that we have the 2 transistors for I think the stabilized power supply. So old school voltage regulator, voltage stabilization. Then on that side we see the 2 relays that are used. What does the manual say? Let me quickly have a peek. Oh, well, it says relay. I would not have thought that it was a relay. No, just kidding. So various bits of the circuit are switched in and out when you hit the PTT. So I think, that's just the way it is built here. Then let me pan around. What do we have here? I think here is the fixed channel oscillator board. You could hook up, I think on the early revision of the machine you could put in up to 4 crystals for fixed channels on 2 meter. And I think on the later version you could only put in 3 crystals, and it has an additional switch to have 2 different shifts. So for repeater operation, usually in Germany you had like 600 kilohertz shift, but it also had the option to put another crystal in to have a different shift. Okay, not much to see here at the front. Well, obviously here these are the switches for the synthesizer board, where you could select your TX frequency. Unfortunately only a 10 kilohertz raster, so these days I don't know how, well, obviously can still use it, but you're bound to a 10 kilohertz raster, so a bit of a con. And below this nice don't touch section we have the what's it called? The PLL synthesizer VCO. So yeah, obviously nice shielded therefore, and if you see here on the left side, there's all kinds of wires going in and out through pass-through capacitors, so I cannot easily take the lid off. You would need to desolder all the connectors and then you can take it out and have a peek inside. So maybe do that another time. Yeah, and on this side, on this under this black metal bar here, heatsink, we have the NF amplifier, I think 4.4 watt or 4.5 watt. And what else do we see here? We have the carrier oscillator for SSB. Let me point it out. Well, you only see one crystal in the middle, so that's it. I think this section here is the carrier oscillator. And then what else do we have here? The TX modulator, says the manual. And above that we have a converter board, which basically mixing the 16 megahertz up to the target frequency 2 meter. So there's a local oscillator, and the IF 16 megahertz IF is mixed to the target output frequency, and then it goes into the amplifier section, I think. Yeah, so that is more or less it from the top side. Let me zoom out again. Basically, from the inside, it does not look too bad. Of course, I don't know how much all the electrolytic capacitors have suffered, but hey, at least it's no SMD capacitors, right? So can still rescue everything here. No acid eating away thin traces. Okay, so before I flip it over, let's have a quick look at the manual. What do you get? Okay, specification. It says double superheterodyne for FM and single superheterodyne for SSB and CW. Doesn't do AM. Of course, we get a schematic, and we get told what all the knobs on the front mean. Okay, serial number was written down by my dad, 23243. Then we have a very tiny, minuscule schematic diagram on 2 pages. And I think at the back there's also a block diagram. How to connect. And as you can see, in 1975 everybody had sports cars. I didn't know that. Then notes for operation, how to operate. And we also get a circuit description, which might come in handy when I get to work on this, or when I decide to work on this. And here's the internal view. As you can see, I've been blatantly cheating and just reading off from the internal view what we see. But yeah, at least it's hopefully not completely wrong then. Okay, and as I said, here is the block diagram. So as you can see, let me try to focus again. Yeah, it looks fairly complicated. Okay, so this is that was the manual, and 2 more bits of information which are quite funny. I found the original bill. Here is the original bill from a tiny small company called Conrad Electronic from the year 1975, 12th December 1975, and it cost my dad 1,690 Deutschmark, together with a ground plane for 54.50, and maybe he got 3% discount sconto for paying in cash. I don't know. I think it was a birthday present, no, Christmas present for himself from his first salary after leaving university. And then 1 year later I showed up, and you know where the money goes when you start a family. So this was probably the one big amateur radio investment in his life. And I found another interesting bit of information. He sent it in for repair or checkup only 3 months later, 24th. And basically there was not really anything wrong with the machine. I think just the calling tone to open repeaters was a bit detuned. Here it says 1785 megahertz, well, should be hertz. Typo in the answering letter. They said it was set to 1785 hertz, but it should have been 1750, and maybe that's why he had problems opening repeaters with the calling tone. Yeah, these days you need a CTCSS module, otherwise no repeater says hello to you. But it's also interesting. I think it looks like it was signed by Klaus Conrad himself. So if you go to Wikipedia and check out history of Conrad Electronic, I think that's also part of the history here now. So I think, quite funny. I still have the manual, I have the original bill, I have a repair note signed by Klaus Conrad. So just a bit of side information. Okay, let's not drag on. Let's flip it over and have a look at the back. Okay, and here we are at the back side. I took the shielding off from the synthesizer section. As you can see here, we have our first integrated circuits. I don't think the AF amplifier on the other side counts. So lovely high tech from the year 75. What does it say? SN7400, SN7490, and what else? MC444 and MC1648. So there you go. This is how the PLL was implemented at the time. What do we have on the left side? Let me again cheat and look at the schematic, at the block diagram. So it says buffer section here for that PCB here on the side. And we have a 16.9 megahertz oscillator again. Did we also have one at the top? Well, maybe the ones for FM, the other ones for SSP, I don't know. Under these cans, which I also couldn't take off easily, there's a filter section. There's just a few components here soldered, or using the shield as ground, so I have to unsolder them. Then we can get the lid off. And here in the middle we have a nice fat board which is called receiver section. And under this do not touch can we have the helical resonator. And what else do we see here? Is that a filter? I have to that Murata filter? Yeah, it looks like. If I bend over, you will see my head, so I can't really decipher it. Maybe that's the, is that the 455 kilohertz filter for the second IF? I don't know, I have to, or maybe it's for SSB. I have to look in the schematics afterwards. And on the other side, what do we see? Here, another big can SSB crystal filter, and it says this whole board is the SSB IF section, so I would say, yeah, maybe on this side we have more the receive part, and on the other side maybe we have the TX part, but that's just how it looks to me at the moment. Okay, and here's the proof. We got a QC passed mark from August 6, 1975. So I'm not lying to you. Okay, here we have the fuse for the AC power that sits here on the other side. And another big transistor. What does that one do? Transistor for voltage control. Okay. Okay, so there you go. Let's zoom out again. The cat showed up, and look what I got. I got a foam ball. Come on, go into frame, say hello to your admirers. And the game to play is throw the foam ball down the staircase and wait for the cat to fetch it and bring it back. Okay, so here we have the front panel, just holding it up with one hand. And as you can see, it's pretty dinged up here. Nice fat scratch here in the enamel. Hang on a second, the ball came back. And Amy's gone for another round. But yeah, basically it's, I think for the time it's still a very nice machine. Maybe that's where my love for the Kenwood look came from, you know, nice black, no nonsense, straightforward design. Maybe that's where it comes from. Yeah, but yeah, the frame here, the plastic is broken on both edges, so I have to maybe 3D print something new and clean up the panel and clean up the knobs. There's grime from decades in there in the knobs, and of course I can't get rid of this scratch here. I don't know, maybe clean it off and use some black paint to fix it. Yeah, I have some childhood memories with this machine. I can remember we had it somewhere set up in the living room and we're listening to the Deutschland-Rundspruch from the Zugspitze every Sunday. And yeah, I think as a kid I was really having fun, you know, playing with this. Obviously no TX, so the microphone was not connected, but I was fascinated by this thing. Okay, so maybe you should keep it short and I should get back to entertain the cat. Let me know in the comments what you would do. Does it make sense to make this winter project, refurbish it, give it a bit of love, replace the electrolytic capacitors in there, maybe make it a bit more secure? Okay, so I would say that's enough for today. Thanks for watching, and you see Amy launching in the middle of the mess, which is my attic here. Boop. Okay, bye guys, until next time.